Good evening, and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Alderman Work Session, June 3rd, 2026. I would like to make mention that this is a work session only. This work session is intended to gather information to aid us in casting a vote at the BOMA meeting. There will be no votes casted this evening. We will have an opportunity for public comments. Once public comments are closed, there will be no other outburst from the gallery or any of the audience. I'd like to ask if you will stand and join me in a word of prayer. Mr. Phil, I'd like to ask if you'll lead us in prayer, sir.
All right. Father God, we thank you first and foremost for this beautiful day you provided, Father. We thank you for this group of people that's come in here to conduct the business of this town, Father. And we just pray, Father, that you guide, lead, and direct us, Father, as and just give us the wisdom needed, Father, to make decisions and choices for this area. Father, we thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Father. We thank you for your Son, Jesus. And we just ask you to forgive us for our many failures. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I invite you to join me in a pledge of allegiance to our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for participating. I would like to open the floor up for public comments. First on the list of public comments is Mr. Ben Hudson. Mr. Hudson, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just wanted to come and speak for a little bit to y'all about the consideration of the annexation on Old Highway 99. Before I get into my comments, what is the water moratorium discussion about? What is that? Is that to take it off, or is that?
It's just discuss where we're at with water.
Not about any specific
right now.
or vesting rights or anything like that. None of that was brought up Monday night about
Yeah.
that. Okay, I want to make sure because I had something to discuss if that was not off the start. The annexation of planning services on Old Highway 99. Has anybody gotten or talked to the county about highway department about what their original thinking was on the annexation and why they disapproved it? Has anybody talked to them?
I have not, but it was only been last night, so.
Right. Has anybody drove through there today or yesterday since the meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
So, did you see where that from the first curve sign up to the top of the hill was right at 300 feet? If the annexation does go through, that would leave that portion coming east, traveling east, that would be outside of the annexation limits, or no turn lane or anything could be put in place. And the annexation, if it does, would need to be extended up to the top of that hill at least, because the people are trying to come, they're coming from Columbia. If this subdivision does get approved, people are gonna be coming in, trying to turn in there, and with the turning lane, you would have to extend it to have the capacity for 5 cars. 5 cars backed up would be backed up over top of that hill, and you're gonna have rear-ended incidents and everything else from people coming over that. Because it is 45 mile an hour all the way to Depot Street. There's no other signs posted except for the signs at the curve that say like 15. But that's not, that's conditional, that's just a warning sign, but it's 45 through there, so it was not, it's not true that it was 15. There's no posted sign besides 45, which is at Tony White's, somewhere around Tony White's Dairy Barn. There is one at Tip Road, I believe. And with that, you wouldn't, if you had a turn lane, you will have rear-ending incidents for people turning in. And also, please bear in mind that this annexation was brought up to service a private development. This would not have been even on your agenda if not for a development being put in there that services. This is solely for private development. Please consider that when you're going to spend taxpayer funds on roadway improvements and annexation. and taking over roadways that we will have to maintain for perpetuity to service private developments, because it's brought up by the developer for his sole purposes. Please bear that in mind when you spend our money. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to speak is Mr. Nathan Pearson. Mr. Pearson, you have the floor, sir.
Essentially, everything I was gonna cover, Ben already covered. I think the most important thing for you all to decide is the safety issue. If you're annexing the length that is required for a turn signal there and for a light if needed. Additionally, the cost that would be involved for the city to make those adjustments and enhancements to the road if necessary, if the developer doesn't want to do that. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Last to speak, Mr. Paul Dillon. Mr. Dillon,
Thank you for your
you have
time.
the floor.
I wanna elaborate on a couple things that Mr. Hudson said. That section where that turn lane would have to go coming from, as if you were coming down 99 from Columbia, that is outside of the annexation, so that means the town would have to annex that. But also you have an eminent domain issue, because then you have to go to Garvin's property and other people's property and start buying their property from them to be able to put in that turn lane. And that's more added expense to the town. That's taking somebody's hard-earned property that they've built, earned, and paid for the private profit of an individual. So keep that in mind too. Making other people pay and lose their hard-earned property for the personal profits of an individual is completely wrong. Next thing, I know there was some misrepresentations made by Mr. Knox about the speed limit on Old 99. The first and only speed limit sign is right at Thick Road and Old 99. It's 45 miles per hour. It does not change until you hit the Mikey Minor ball field where the sign says 30 miles an hour. So even when you're coming into the roadside and under Depot Bridge where it still is, it's still 45 miles an hour. There's nothing up there doing that. There are safety signs asking, giving a suggestion for the speed to be reduced, but the truth is those are suggestions. It's a safety yellow speed limit sign, not a maximum speed sign. It was under 300 feet, measured it with a wheel measure from the top of the hill by the Garvins to the driveway. It was under 300 feet. The way TDOT measures in the national standard is at 3.5 feet for the eye plus reaction time. Depending how fast somebody's going, the reaction time, especially for younger drivers, kids coming to school, coming from school, older people who don't have that reaction time, that mid-adults are gonna have, that's greatly reduced. So if somebody comes pulling out, and we all know that those blind turns happen all the time, especially on that turn, it's gonna increase safety issues, it's gonna increase accidents, and cause a lot of harm. So it's really not in the public's best interest. The next thing I want to bring up with Mr. Marr, I think you probably could comment on this, and I don't know if it would be a public comment or a private comment, but you guys have litigation right now with Rocky McElhaney's office over the 3 that were killed on the railroad tracks. When you start making decisions as a board, as on behalf of the town, and those do not take into the serious concerns of traffic and the people to put this in for private, that's something when you have to get in depositions, when you get sued, the issue is that can come back to bite this town on the backside, because not only did you not take care of the safety issues there, not only did you have a former town manager collude with Mr. Knox and hide that information and make derogatory comments through emails about the grants that were offered for the bridge, which we have those emails. Which if they don't have them, they probably will get them in discovery, and that's gonna come back to hurt the town. But when you start making decisions that impact EMS, fire, police, and everybody else, Depot Street Bridge, increasing the likelihood of accidents that was a foreseeable and preventable, that can bring further harm financially to this town. And like I said, I don't know if Mr. Moore can comment on that publicly or not, because you have current litigation over it. But it's also my understanding that CSX Railroad's involved too, in that lawsuit. So there is a likelihood, as long as CSX is still in that lawsuit, it can go to a jury trial. And if that goes to a people of the peers, that's gonna pull people here from Marshall County And that's gonna pull people here from Chapel Hill are real aware of this. And I'm sure Mr. Moore can comment, juries like to punish for negligence. And can the town sustain that financial loss? Even with insurance, there's still deductibles and portions the town has to pay. This is an extreme financial burden. However, the town does have the option, if they wanted to annex past and go take those properties. Before that can happen, you can require that Mr. Knox go to the homeowners, offer and ask to buy those properties and be successful in buying the land from them to put in that turn lane. You have that ability under the law. You have that ability under the 2023 subdivision plan, as well as the 2006. But this is a new issue, so this would fall under the 2023 subdivision regulations. So you can require him to pay for a survey to determine how many cars are coming through there, what the future full impact, not the partial, but if he gets to move forward with the whole entire project. By the way, the numbers by using the national standard of engineers is 9,000 to 10,000 trips of vehicles coming and going through that whole area. So I want you guys to really stop and take that into consideration, the financial cost, the life, safety, and welfare of the public. And that this, as Mr. Hudson said, this is not about bettering the town. This is to serve the purpose and the needs and the financial desires and windfall of a private developer who's already demonstrated clearly he doesn't follow rules, he doesn't care about the rules, because even though the county told me he couldn't put that road in, he still did. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Public comments are now closed. I respectfully ask that there be no outburst on any of the items that what we speak on. We're here to conduct business. Outbursts become a distraction. Allow us to do what we do. Allow us to seek information, discuss it, and if any of the board members feel they need to ask questions, they can ask Mr. Knox any questions. Moving over to discussion items. Item number 1, annexation and plan of services roadway on Old Highway 99.
This is basically what several of the comments were about just now. During the meeting on Monday night, the Planning Commission voted to defer the recommendation for plan of services for this annexation. You can tell them what this means for them.
So right now, you don't have a recommendation from Planning Commission with respect to the annexation. You can still proceed to have the public hearing and consider it, but I think
Public hearing has been scheduled for Monday already because we had to do that in advance.
I do think it provides the opportunity to get that additional information, let Planning Commission make a recommendation or not, and then reconsider the vote at that time. As far as I know, there's not any deadline or urgency to making a decision on this annexation the next meeting.
I think that is wise.
No, we don't.
No, you can't vote on
We don't do
anything, it's a
anything
work
on this,
session.
no, I meant to not do it.
No, it's just a work session.
Oh, we're just talking, then that's all we do?
This is just discussion for what you want to do Monday night.
Okay, well, I got a question on that, what we're talking about. If we do it, and, I mean, let's say we do it, is it we're supposed to ask, like, if we do annex it, we can answer that question now, or we wait till later, or what?
Say that again.
Are we just supposed to, can we just discuss what's going on?
Sure, we
Okay.
can discuss
If we go to
anything
that,
you want.
if we go to that, like, he wants this right here, he wants it over to here, does he not? Where the road comes in, he wants it annexed to here?
I think, you mean in the public comment?
Yes.
I think what they're asking is we go on and annex more of it up to
But
this
Knox,
area.
but Knox is only asking for this, right?
Yes.
Is that both sides of the road then, or is it
This
just this
is,
side? or-
it's roadway only.
Oh, gotcha, cause none of these houses
This would,
are in
the
there?
houses would stay in the county on
So-
Derrick Street.
So the plan of service, we don't have to supply lights or water needs door or whatever.
For
since it's
roadway,
subdivision.
would
Yeah, there's
allow,
lights.
we would
This
have to.
roadway we would, but not to,
Not that
not all the
subdivision, not that little
Correct.
subdivision, you know.
and there is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit there. And if you go from here out there, right where, I'm not too sure, maybe he knows that the road splits, there's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit right there, but I don't know if that's going that way or if it's the whole.
Is that inbound or outbound?
Going out. Going out. It's on that, right where the road split, there's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit right there. You know what I'm talking about? It's there, isn't it?
It's that,
Yeah.
but he's talking about coming this way from Columbia.
No, correct, that one I
Eastbound
didn't.
traffic.
Yeah, I didn't come that way, and they're rolling pretty fast on
It's
that corner.
45 all the way to,
Yeah.
I think the ball fields.
But there's a 30 going out the other way. But I'm not too
Yeah,
sure
that's
if
what
it,
they consider.
but I'm not too sure if it's going out towards the road or if it's this way, it kinda confusing a little bit.
He's going that, Smiley.
I think it's going out that way, it kinda looks like it's that way,
Traveling east to west,
Yes.
west.
traveling west to the east, it's still 45.
Smiley,
Yeah.
Smiley comes in.
Right, yeah, and it was still,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is the benefit of us doing this? And, I mean, how does it benefit this town?
Well, in 2027, if I understand correctly, Marshall County is gonna release urban growth boundary, possibly. Possibly. So if this is not annexed on this go around, the urban growth development, if it is released, will probably take it
That's
in.
possible.
But it has to be released from Marshall County.
Just briefly, I don't wanna go too far, cause a lot of this is hypothetical, but as far as I know, the town hasn't seen a proposed development connection design for the development, the connection. And one option that the town, or one avenue the town could explore is say, well, show us what the connection would look like that you're proposing. Then the town engineers, the developers engineers can look at it and say, what do we need to do to make it safe? Do we need to annex further? Do we need a turn lane? Do we need speed limit regulation? And to get back to your question, that the potential benefit of the town would be it could control that intersection if it annexed this right of way. But unless you know what that design is gonna look like, and to the point made previously, who's gonna pay for that? Whether that's the developer's gonna pay for that or the town's gonna pay for that. You don't exactly know what's gonna happen, what the developer is gonna propose. You could annex it and the developer could say, well, we're just gonna put this connection here, and then that's all you've got to work with. But the planning commission and the town has flexibility to say, yeah, we'll annex it, but we're gonna annex it because we wanna see this design and this connection that's gonna be safe. Again, I'm not an engineer or a planner even, but it seems like the way this is developing, if it moves forward, it's gonna be the primary entrance to at least these first few phases of the development, and should be designed with that in mind, so.
Cause I believe even in this next phase with the printer out here, he's got places stubbed out if and when somebody sells the property or he decides that he wants to invest more money into it, go out to Ball Lane. And once he goes to Ball, it's not on us because it's county. Even if he goes out to, right before the underpass, Spring Creek, whatever it is out here, Spring Creek. If he goes that way, he's got his sewer line and everything going out that way already too.
Caney Springs.
Caney Springs.
I know the Spring. So,
But if he, again, those are just thoughts, I don't wanna, cause planning commission would have to look at it, engineers would have to look at it, but that is one potential scenario that I could see happening if the town annexed it.
So the planning commission does not have a design or,
I don't think there's been a proposed design for that. You know, the subdivision that was submitted in concept shows that connects to the road, but it doesn't show a ingress and egress or how that will all work, where the road width, how it'll be signaled. I certainly haven't seen anything that proposes any turn lanes or anything else beyond just connecting it to the road.
they would definitely need that, wouldn't they?
I think it would be appropriate to have that, yes.
That's right. The county always needs to step in and have someone.
I really had a question last night about why the county didn't wanna touch it or something, or why they didn't want anything to do with it, they wanted us to annex it, they were gonna discuss it, find out that, I think, before the next meeting or something, so. That was mentioned, remember?
Did I can't remember, did I just say he was gonna reach out to Marshall County?
Someone was gonna find out why the county wanted us to take it over or something, I know they discussed it.
Well, I think it would probably be in the best interest if we deferred this until we got all the designs, things from Marshall County,
Okay.
and remove this from the agenda for Monday night,
Yep.
and then
Give the
give,
suggestions back to planning to make sure that we check the engineer and everybody else, but
And that would cancel the public hearing as well.
But of course, that does have from a timing standpoint, there is a 21-day notice requirement on the, public hearing. So it would not be able to be set any sooner than at least 21 days, but it's probably not gonna be until after the planning commission meets again, so that is one thing to keep in mind. It is gonna be, probably put it off 60 days before it could get back to you, if everything was just on the normal schedule.
so we're canceling the June 8th? So then the June 8th public is gonna be canceled?
The public hearing would be, if that's what you want me to do.
Do you think we need more comments from the public before we?
Your one other option is you could still have the public hearing, leave it open, anybody wishing to speak that shows up to speak, can speak on it. Doesn't mean you have to vote on it at that meeting.
well, I want people to have information and be able to analyze it
Right.
before opening their mouth and sticking their foot in it. Yes, sir.
I was looking at section 1, and I'm confused. It says 50-foot right of way. Is that center of a road? Is that 50 foot on each side, or
50
or
foot from the center of the road.
on both sides?
No, total.
Total. So in other words, from the center of the road, it would be 25 feet.
Your average lane of travel is 12.5 foot wide. So if you go another 12.5 foot from the white line, extending north and then south.
And generally, a county highway is 50 feet unless there's some other specific easement that's been dedicated.
I didn't know that, I didn't know whether it meant 50 foot. You're gonna take off to this side of the road and 50 on this,
That's what it is already.
but it's 25. So the property owner would not lose any more than what's already there from the county.
True.
Any more discussion over item number 1? So the plan to defer until receive info from Marshall and plans from Mr. Knox to go back to planning committee we say 60 days.
So the planning commission will address it at their next meeting. and
3 weeks out.
So it could, depending on how they vote, you could have another public hearing notice given after that. Or you might decide to go ahead and set another public hearing for the July meeting. Reset the public hearing to July meeting, there would be enough time to do that, I think.
I don't know,
That's what I wasn't sure either without looking at the calendar.
I don't think so. The planning commission meets on 22nd, so public hearing would be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it would be exactly 21 days to the 13th. But we would
July's
not be able,
vacation time.
we wouldn't be able to post the public hearing in the paper until that Thursday, so it would not.
And if the planning commission was gonna look at any other changes, like asking to annex additional right of way, that wouldn't be ready either. Again, not saying that they will, but it's a possibility.
Could we put the public hearing off to August, then? Or they won't have to, right?
Put it whenever you want to after the planning commission, it's gotta be at least 3 weeks. Post it 3 weeks ahead. It doesn't necessarily have to be at a meeting, you can have a public hearing anytime.
Well, I know July is a lot of times when people will be out for vacation. My recommendation, or my suggestion, will be to do it, a public hearing in August.
You've got plenty of time to make that decision. Future point. I mean, decide that at the meeting.
We'll do that Monday night.
We can do that Monday night.
Thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Any other discussion over item number 1? Hearing none. Progress to item 2, annexation and plan of services for 4530 Nashville Highway.
This is a resolution, which went before planning commission for recommendation the other night. It was a favorable recommendation to send to BOMA. This is the parcel of land down here across from the dentist office where the storage units. The one gets down, part of it's in floodplain.
Yes.
And he's just wanting to annex his entire lot.
There's only just a sliver of land on the back, isn't it?
But he just wants it all to be in the city limits.
Is there a reason why?
Because it doesn't want part of his property in Marshall County and part of his property in
That was it?
Capitol Hill, yeah. That way he doesn't have to go back and forth to get to, if he does something again, he has to go to Marshall County to expand on it or whatever.
You have to get two permissions for everything.
So I found it was his recommendation to put it that way so you can save a lot of paperwork and going back and forth.
But that will be on your agenda Monday night, both yea or nay. We can still have more discussion now if you need to.
Does there need to be any more discussion? I mean, I'm good with him. I'm good annexing him. He requested. I'm good with it.
Well, I'm just curious, the client service, we don't have any service to them, it's just adding it on, we don't have to do anything different.
No, there will be nothing other than adding land into the city.
Yeah, we don't have to do anything for client service.
No, not at all.
Any other discussion?
Regulations for the storage.
Item number 3, contract renewal with Marshall County Board of Public Utilities.
We went to the Marshall County Utility Board at their May meeting, and they did pass, a new purchase and sale agreement to Chapel Hill, which is included in your packet. they have, said they would give us up to 120,000 gallons per day. It's pretty much standard what it was and has been as far as, how the contract is worded, other than the facts that they will only charge us for what we use. They are not going to have a minimum charge anymore. We couldn't get the water from them, and they finally acknowledged that.
Did we get that squared away?
We would have to sue them to get the money. So, we overpaid, but we would have to sue them, so I mean, that's something that we could do. It's just a matter of whether the litigation costs more than that. But,
So 120,000 gallons,
it's,
say.
yes, that's what it would be up to. It was written last year as 100,000 gallons guaranteed and up to 150. The guaranteed in was like basically, you know, we paid for 100,000 whether we needed it or not, or we got it or not. But even after we would tell them that we needed it, we did not get it. So that's why they have agreed to go down to this, only charge for what we use. It is a 1-year contract. They did it 1 year because they seem to still think they're gonna have their plant up and running next July, which, yay for them if they can do that.
I was at,
And, price, it will be at $8.48 per thousand. It was at $7.73 last year, it has gone up 75 cents.
848.
Yes, sir.
Page 6.
And, that is due to Lewisburg raised the price on them, so they just passed it along to us, plus, 5% Bedford agency charge. So if we were to get any other water, if we needed emergency water, they were gonna pump all that to the south. If they come through the north, it would be at a rate of $9 because they actually have to. If they had, well, it would be operating a pump station, it takes a little more electricity and whatnot for them to do.
So they couldn't supply the 100,000 that what they guaranteed, and now they're saying they give us 120,000.
But we're not saying that we need it.
Any discussion over item 3? Any more?
120 is actually the ceiling of it. But as the board said in their meeting, we are assured that if we were in an emergency situation, they would do everything they could to get us water.
But they couldn't provide what's meant by it. Any more discussion over item 3? Let's advance to item number 4, the water moratorium.
This was brought up by the planning commission on, Monday night, I'm sorry. About, just to discuss water availability, water moratorium, and, for the BOMA to decide if it was feasible to be lifting the moratorium, and for Donnie to give his opinion on whether or not we could be.
I think we could ease it some. I don't know how much.
What do you mean easy?
I mean, well, we went from 330,000, we're down below 200,000 now usage wise and water loss. So we cut our water loss from 44% to 16%. So we could ease it some. Which
This
the
is coming-
county's already lifted theirs, so.
How many houses?
Do they have the supply for the demand?
I mean, we do, I mean, we still have extra storage in our plant, plus we're still getting from the county. We're getting, right now, yesterday, we got 78,000, the day before we got 64,000, so. But when we drop our tank some, we open some lines on the south side, we can get 94,000, 95,000, so.
The past 2 days have been under 100,000.
Yeah,
We
we
stay under
the
it.
total, from our plant and the county, we've been under 200,000. And it's been kind of constant, steady there, so. We have roughly 100 extra thousand gallons.
But we still pay for the 100,000 currently, correct?
Currently, yes.
Did the recent rain help with the drought condition?
It did, yeah. So, but of course, you know, we're still going into summer, I mean, I can't guarantee the weather, but we do have a little extra capacity now from fixing our water loss.
If it was eased, you say ease up some, if it was eased, what would that look like?
A couple hundred homes.
Public comments are closed, sir. Forward.
It'd be on a case-by-case basis, I mean, we're watching it close.
Isn't Marshall County doing the same thing by case by case?
I think
They
I
are.
guess, yeah, but then Lewisburg and Cornersville still under their current moratorium.
Marshall
They
County
are.
lifted theirs completely, but you have to go before them for a water availability report, and they can either approve or deny you at that point.
But then Lewisburg and Cornersville are still under their current ones.
As far as I know.
Question,
Yes, sir.
with the new houses on Morningside, whatever Spring Place, and if we do with like Mr. Knox's and stuff like that, when they started the development, we were supposed to somewhat guarantee them some water so they were able to go
Yes,
ahead, or are
that's
they
still
shut?
in- That's still
or-
in my head there too.
is
It'll
Morningside-
be roughly about 15,000 gallons they'll be using over here.
But Morningside isn't shut down from building?
No, they still ain't got their water lines approved. So I don't know, I can't tell you when it'll be approved and all that stuff. If they start, you know, you're still looking at probably 8 months or a year even before they can start
Before
the
they
first
even-
house.
Mr. Knox, how long does it take you to build a house?
About 60 to 90 days.
So, 3 months, long term. Any other discussion on the water moratorium?
Would it be wise to have this, county deal in place
I think,
before we did that as an assurity?
I think it would be very wise to have that in place, to have that as another resource. I'd rather be looking at it than looking for it. And I just think I'm worried summertime's coming. You and I, we're not weathermen. You can't predict it. I think it's gonna be a hot, dry summer. And I think that I would feel more comfortable if we had that Bedford County thing secured. And then with the assurance
Are
from
you
Marshall
talking
County,
about all construction done?
that contract.
Contract is done.
It's done.
It has been done. Yeah.
How long will it take us to get a drop?
Probably 18 months, somewhere in that neighborhood. I hate to say exactly.
Beginning when?
You're looking at.
He's doing the drawings and set up.
Under
the bids
design,
right now.
TDEC approval, building, you're looking at minimum of 18 months.
So 30 to
Possibly
60
2 years.
days from now would probably be its go out, and then open those, and then you're looking at 18 months probably from start of construction. That was the estimate we were told.
The two unknowns that concern me on that is one, we're not sure what right-of-way easements will need to be acquired for that, depending on the route. And then until you bid it out, you don't know exactly what it's gonna cost. So,
Yeah, Todd's right on the easements down Miller Road.
Yeah, you would have the option to accept bids.
270 would be state right
Or
away.
refuse, you can refuse all bids.
So would it be something that what we should review 6 months from now?
so I think it's the moratorium is scheduled to expire in the current resolution right after the first of the year.
January 13th.
Hopefully at that point, I don't know when Greg thinks he'll have everything ready to go out to bid. I guess I would be more confident in saying you could remove the moratorium once the construction project was underway, you knew what it was costing, you had a timeline for completion. Until you get to that point. I don't know whether you'd be there by January or not, but maybe.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we already got a clue that we're getting, capable of getting it from them, but till it's fine tuned, easements and things like that, they're not gonna build all these over on Morningside overnight, even if they did, they don't have their lines in place, according to Donnie, so.
Yeah, I looked this morning, their lines have not been approved yet for T-Deck. Still incomplete, I don't know what else they're needing or wanting.
There's a guy building a house on the corner of Evans and Depot right now. Does he have his tap already?
Yes, where, I'm sorry, where?
Evans, that goes to the grade school, elementary school backside, Depot Street right across.
Haman Street and Depot.
Oh, yes, yeah, the tap was originally there.
So-
I guess that was an old farm tap, actually, Mr. Chun pointed it out to us.
Okay, so there's other taps that are already been bought, so we're already guaranteeing a certain amount of people water.
That was all grandfathered in before.
Yeah, well, like I said, but there's other stuff that's probably already signed for it, agreed to.
How many do you have coming to your phase one?
7 is what we got right now. We just started and got, I think we bought three building permits and we're buying 3 more right now, but that is per year. So phase 2 right now is what we're asking for the next 70. Those won't even come online for over a year and a half. So all we're looking for is phase 2 for 70 taps to move forward so we can start construction of putting all of our infrastructure in for phase 2.
He can't, until the taps are secured, he can't do any construction to get ready to get to the taps.
And I mean, Don, do we have 70?
Yeah. I mean, we have the water that can handle that, but that's up to the board on. I've been really surprised that we cut our water loss so much.
Well, that's because of the work you guys been doing. I mean, day and night you've been out there chasing water, so.
We chase it every day, so. Of course, we find them in the sled service line inventory too, old galvanized lead gooseneck, sleeping water.
Has that 70 that's been approved, has it already been guaranteed water?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 70, and that's, Donnie's.
That was
taken out-
already in my calculations.
That's already in the calculations for that.
So the first phase was pretty much guaranteed. You're just looking eventually.
It was promised, Ellington was promised, and Ezel was promised at that time. All this,
Yeah, there were 171 homes.
Yes.
60 something, whatever it was, that were calculated into our.
How close are you to starting your first construction out there?
It's already started,
Has it?
Yeah.
How many houses so far?
3.
There's 3.
And they're model homes.
So Dale, you have anything?
Yeah. Might be excused in that.
Yes, ma'am. If there be no other discussion on item 4, the water moratorium, we'll advance to item number 5. Agreement with Hethcoat Davis for engineering services for infrastructure planning grant.
This is a grant that we, applied for and got again this year. We got it last year as part 1, it's where we did the closed caption televisions through the or closed caption camera, not televisions, but, CCTV is what it's called.
This
Through
actually-
the piping and.
This actually held part of our consent order for the I&I issues.
And, Hethcoat Davis were our engineer for it last year, and they have, just sent us, the plans and whatnot, and asking us to sign another agreement with them so they can do part two of this. And I would recommend that we do stay with
So I think
them.
it'll be smart to keep it since they've already
Since
begun.
you already know it anyway.
Yeah. So just let them push it.
That'll be on your agenda.
Any questions?
Imagine we budgeted for this already.
Yeah. Well, it's full grant, so.
Oh, it's grand, sorry.
Any other questions? Discussion? If not, we'll move forward. We'll advance to item number 6. Ordinance 2026-002, the fiscal year 2026 budget amendment.
This is what you've already voted on in first reading, as it changed it all. And so second reading's coming up, I just put it on your list.
Is it 2 or 3? 2. Any discussion or questions over the budget amendment? Hearing none. Item 7, ordinance 2026-003, the fiscal year 2027 budget ordinance.
The full ordinance, that would be turned into the comptroller is in your packet. All changes were made according to what the board and budget committee advised. And, so this goes in and shows your summary of your, cash flow with all the, line item and everything. Property tax would remain the same at .906363. No change on it. And a lot of these in the back are just forms and, where we have to show our debt and whatnot to the comptroller, so.
Nice package, sir. Thank you.
And so we will vote on the first reading of the budget on Monday night. We will have to have a special call meeting in order, provided the budget passes Monday night. We will need a special call meeting at some point, at least 2 weeks past that, to pass it before the June 30th deadline and get it in on time. But last year, we got that meeting on the county that has in one, so that's what's going toward that. It's just in 2 separate years. We have the reserve, it will have, if we didn't have any reserves, that would get turned down, but since we do have reserves, it won't.
Any other questions over the ordinance?
Yes, it is.
I'll look at it.
Over ordinance 2026-003, 2027 fiscal year budget. Hearing no other questions. Item 8, CRISI grant application.
This is, the grant that is for the, Federal Railroad Administration. It's, CRISI grant, CRISI is Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvements. And this would be for the Depot Street overpass, underpass, with designs on filling in the underpass completely, building a steady ramp up instead of just a steep one, putting signals in, and the signals would also alert emergency vehicles whether a train would be there or is coming through. And, so this is in the early stages. We have, we've begun talks with with the people, met with T-Dot, met with our grant people. They suggested that we get forward to pass a resolution saying that we wanted and needed this grant. Which, if we don't have a grant, it's a moot point, we can't afford to do it on our own, so. It is an 80-20 grant, estimated cost would probably be around $5 million
Total project.
total. And we would leave 20% on this. And it would probably, one negative point would probably shut down that area where people would have to go around, I would say, quite some time, months.
In the long term, it might probably be the best.
For a long-term solution, I think it's great.
I'm sure that'll make them happy.
Well, it's the same lots.
And it
I'm
is,
just
and
saying.
that's what we're pushing it
I
as
think
a
it's a
safety
great idea.
concern.
Great idea.
Can you type up resolution?
Yeah, there's one, it was added in.
That is it?
That's it.
No, okay, so this is the resolution for us passing or saying that we need it. Okay. I stand corrected, my apologies.
All right, it came in late.
Yes, I like that. 20,
It's just another thing that would help us get the grant forward, saying this is very much needed, and we are in favor of it.
so we're on the hook for a million.
Grants.
So big bold letters.
Yes,
Roughly.
Is the CSX gonna cooperate?
Hopefully this time they shut it down.
Yeah.
I mean, there would have to be some
CSX.
shutdown.
CSX would basically control when the work was done as far as actual shutdown on it.
We have someone that knows the trains, can I ask, Mr. Hudson,
They're,
of that, or is that
Well,
something that you're knowledgeable with? How
So,
long do you think that would take?
A
or-
public project like that would include acquisitions and all that. Once the grant is totally approved, it would go to a company, a firm, that would come out, your bids would be put through that firm, everything would come out. Once construction starts, I'd say you're looking at 18 months, and how that would happen is the railroad would provide a flagman for whatever days are set. You'll figure in your flagging days, you'll figure in that cost into your budget, and that flagman will control that section of track for however many hours that day you wanna work. So if you wanna work 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, the flagman will control that track for 12 hours a day. You can start early and end late if something happens. That's all figured into your budget, and that flagman controls the trains through that area for that period of time. So as the work progresses, you're only gonna stop till the train passes. So unless there's operations like pile driving that are required, most of the work will flow smoothly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but CSX does not donate money toward a grant. They wouldn't help us out paying for it, but they would possibly donate the labor and work done to do that. Am I right on that?
Not the labor and work as far as the crossing. No. The flagging and all that.
Oh, I'm talking about filling in the underpass, that type of thing.
That would be.
And all the,
Might be in your box.
And all the what?
What's your folder?
just the
Cross.
basic.
The crossing material
crossing
itself.
stuff, yeah.
It could be worked out with the local forces. I would budget it in and then see what the local
Yes,
forces could
and
donate.
yeah,
budget it.
absolutely, but it's a
Um,
possibility.
It is possibility to work with the local forces to see what materials they have around to backfill, and also public outside people could donate to help
Mhm.
fill in and off-site material be brought in. Now, something about is anything removed does have to be, manifested out and tested. Anything removed off railroad right of way does have to be tested, but it can be reused on railroad right of way. So if you can find more cuts in the fields, you can find ways to make more cuts. And your engineer, are you working with Kevin?
Mhm.
They know all this. He's very familiar with the process, and the railroad is very, friendly to these types because it reduces their liability. Like I say, we got 3 fatalities, you've had a life flight, they want these done, they might not give you the money.
And they don't like underpasses either.
But they will help to get them fast track.
So you say they'll have a flagman, well, that being 2 double track, will they have to have one north and south of the?
No, how flagman works is you have an area of railroad from, you would probably go from Loeb Road down to, you could go to the cemetery on Harbor Road. That would be your limits. So all train traffic through that limits has to talk to that EIC, your employee charge, from Loeb Road to the end of his work limits. And in that work limits, nothing can move or be operated or do anything in those limits without first securing permission from that employee who is referred to as a flagman. He controls all tracks and movements through that area. So that's his track for however many hours he's got.
And CSX will pay for his.
No,
No, we wouldn't.
no, he's a CSX
CSX
employee.
would pay for it, but we would pay CSX for it.
That'd be-
Right, CSX would front the money and then CSX would bill out.
Yeah, they would invoice us for his time.
That's like,
This
And
is,
they're on that.
this is just information you get for the grant.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we're not,
Alright.
this is
We're not
just,
actually- This is just the grant.
it's a long,
Yeah.
tedious process to even get this grant.
So theoretically, would it be more than 5 million?
Depending on,
You
the
count,
biggest issue, you figure $2,100 a day per man, It's billed on a daily basis. Figure 2,100 per man. Maybe
Per day?
25. Yeah, per day. So if you're at 365 days, your flagging costs can run extraordinary. 220% overrun is what you can figure.
so what does it, the flagman do, stop the train?
Keeps you from getting hit by a
make
train.
sure no one else gets hit while they're doing construction. So if a train's coming northbound, they're saying, hey, you had to stop, we've got people working on the track.
So-
Once they clear the track, flagman says, hey, traffic's good. Is that correct?
Donnie's out there working on a water line.
It's like the guy on the road.
He's got a
that says
flagman.
Stop, slow.
He get,
Well, that's
That's
what he
what it
does.
Donnie's-
That's exactly what he's doing.
Donnie's working right there at the underpass, so he's got a water line he's gotta work on, right?
I'll do 50.
His flagman's out there talking to all trains. All trains that come through there have to talk to him and secure his permission to go through that limits from the 225.8 to the 220.7.6.
What is that?
Go, that's the milepost. So to go through those mileposts, that train has to talk to the CSX employee and secure his permission to go through across that portion of the track.
They gotta stop at Loeb Street until he says go.
Right.
And then when he says go, they come through, but nobody can come back the other way until he says go again.
That's right, and the employee, so say he knows he's got a train at Holt's Corner. He'll tell Donnie, hey, I need you in the clear in 15 minutes, can you be out of the way in 15 minutes? Donnie says, yes, I can be. He'll say, all right, come up to such and such milepost. When you get to that milepost, let me know, and I'll get him out of the way, or whatever. But, or he'll tell Donnie to clear.
They're
get
not
out of the
gonna
way.
come back
He
on
protects, he provides your on-track protection.
like they do now.
Toot the horn's not enough to,
Absolutely not,
hey, there's a train coming?
absolutely not.
I don't wanna see him coming at me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. We're wrong.
That's definitely something that what we're.
Years ago,
Yeah, but this resolution, nothing to do with cost, anything, it's basically just getting us to be able to have a chance to get this grant.
Get a chair to take.
last year, 4 million, last time we did about 4 million.
Any other questions over item 8, the CRISI grant? Hearing none, advance to item 9, adjustment to town recorder's salary.
That was put into the budget, if you remember, she had requested a raise and y'all put it in, so it just needed a resolution to go with it.
Any discussion over that? So we just
No,
vote
it's
about
already to the front.
It was basically just an amendment to her contract instead of the percentage raise, we gave her a numerical raise.
There being no other questions, Item 10, sales tax referendum to increase the public request.
We had not to increase the public
And-
request.
and the
It was
public
a
request
public
to
request,
increase.
at public request. We got an anonymous letter, but, if you remember, was it last year, year before? We tried to do a referendum to raise sales tax here in the city from 9.25 to 9.75. We didn't get a whole lot of backing and get behind it very well with the board. Didn't have a lot of time, and it failed. It did get some votes, but it did fail on the vote. We got a letter that says, I request that the board review and place the following item on the agenda for next work session and BOMA meeting. The town of Chapel Hill increased the tax collected from businesses to match the surrounding areas from 9.25 to 9.75, and to have it placed on referendum for the upcoming election. The increase in revenue will help provide funding for first responders, equipment, and personnel.
You've been in numbers, man, what's that?
Quite a bit. I don't have a computer.
I think you come up to like 100.
It was like 108,000, wasn't it? Is that right last time? I wanna say on average, what our sales tax has been.
And then that would go in the general fund, correct, where that could be
It would.
used, that could be used for.
That could be used to help pay our portion of the grant that we just talked about. That could be used to, for police or fire or whatever we wanted to use it for, to go into the general fund.
So when you put this on the agenda, are we gonna like have to put a motion that not
Yes,
add that
someone would need to make a motion,
to not,
to, actually for the town to put this on referendum for the election. We would then have to contact the election commission. I don't know if we have time.
Yeah, well, and you may remember a couple years ago, the process for this actually is we have to pass an ordinance or resolution to put it there. Then the county has 60 to 90 days to decide if they wanna make it a county-wide referendum. And until they don't, or until they decide, if they decide they don't want to, then we could do it city only, which is what happened the last time.
Right.
But timing would take several months from doing that, I don't think.
So it would probably be next year before it would go on to the, which would give the town time to
Educate.
educate people and push it up a little bit, and that type of thing. I think it'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we obviously, the board is not wanting to raise property taxes at all. We do need to figure out some other way to bring money into town. And that way it comes from not only the town, but people outside that visit and whatever, so.
yeah, we definitely have to let them know why, how, why.
Yeah, it comes out to be a nickel for every $100 spent.
What's Lewisburg, is Lewisburg 975 or is Lewisburg 925?
You know,
I think they're the same, I believe they're the same as us, but, I mean,
most every county around, I think there's only a handful, maybe 5 or 6 in the state that are not 975.
we're one of the last few, all of our surrounding, all the places that people shop currently, Murfreesboro, Franklin, Brentwood, all those areas, they've been charging that for a long time.
Columbia too.
Yeah.
Well, it's time.
Yeah, the first thing people hear is, oh, you're gonna raise taxes, oh, no, we don't want that.
I don't even think most people realize
They
that it's different here than
If-
anywhere else.
To be perfectly honest, if you charge 9.75 instead of 9.25, the average person who goes in and buys $15 worth of stuff, and they then turn around and tell you that's gonna be $16.42. You're not gonna know the difference if it's $16.47. And nobody would ever say, you know,
5
it
cents.
wouldn't even go up, you know,
It's
it's,
a penny.
well, I'm
Mine
just
said people hear,
giving an
oh, you're gonna
example.
raise taxes.
But that's how it hits people. It's not like we're asking them to donate $100.
So not only that, we're asking it as sales tax, not as property tax.
Sales tax.
Yeah.
And the sales tax means that anybody comes through that comes through the town and shops at one of our stores or whatever like that are paying it as well. It's not just the individuals on each home.
When it's property tax, it's only the people in the city limits, town limits that own property. All the people that rent, that don't affect them at all. People that live just outside the town limits don't affect them. So if we change the sales tax rate, everybody helps contribute, not just the landowners within the town limits. Tractor pull, 5,000-10,000 people coming through buying ice and fuel and beer and everything, all that goes to help, every event. The people that live Walls Hill, wherever, that shop, that go to Brooks, Unionville, Eagle.
It's actually 5 cents for $10. That's wrong a while ago. That's what I got for the whole race. Because you said it, it made me realize what I'd said before.
5 cents for every $10. Well, it's,
So it's 50 cents per 100.
okay.
How do we, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
how do we let the public know, I mean, cause unless we somehow educate them. or let them know.
Signs,
We need to do something with,
text
I don't know
messages
how,
from the
but-
town, that type of thing.
We got some signs from last time when we tried to do the so-called penny tax and stuff like that. There's just a few that went out.
Yeah, you need some type
Most
of
people didn't
slogan to get it.
understand.
And that's the problem, we
Yeah,
didn't have time to celebrate, to do it.
Yeah, we need to do something that we think.
Well, we have great resources with, social media platforms and
I agree,
folks that are able to do videos and
as long as they don't do it
post on
negatively,
social media.
unless they don't do it negatively. Correct.
Well, it's just, if you think about it, and I'm not gonna pick on any particular store, but my household travels either to Lewisburg or Spring Hill to purchase household functions, because you can get it at a cheaper shelf rate or shelf price than what you can at others. Now that you think about it, you got sales taxes more there, gas to get there. It would only make sense that it would go to 9.75. I'm thinking out loud.
And 7% of that goes to the state. 7%, right? 7% of that has nothing to do with us.
Well, let's get into that.
That's item number 11.
On the next part, the sales tax agreement with Marshall County. We've been on this for 3 years now, I guess. The way sales tax works is, the sales tax rate basically is 7%. 2.25% of that is what our rate is. Now, that doesn't necessarily come to us, it goes to the state. They get the first 7, then they get a little 2.25, then they send they get 1.125% of that. And then they send that to Marshall County. Marshall County then splits, they take 1% commission, then split what's left. So if they get, I'm just gonna make up a number and say $100,000. They get $100,000, they take 1% of that, which leaves 99. They get 49,500, we get 49,500. Except with the agreement we had with them, we agreed to give them 1/3 of our 49,500. So ours comes out to somewhere around $33,000, and Marshall County gets about $67,000 in that scenario. To explain.
fence.
So in short, it's time to term it.
So what we're basically looking at is either, do we have any update on Shelbyville?
So they had oral argument in, May. In front of the Court of Appeals, Shelbyville, Bedford County. I would be pretty confident we'll have an opinion this year. If you could have an opinion on that, 3 to 4 months. Either party could appeal it to the Tennessee Supreme Court. They could choose to hear it or not. I think there's a really good chance you'll know what a appellate court thinks on the case almost identical to this situation this year. And
So we'll have a president.
I think that this board has an obligation to the town of Chapel Hill.
Well, until 3 years ago, basically this was done for those of you who are new on the board. This agreement was gone into with Chapel Hill and Marshall County in 1993. It was to pay off 20-year bonds. So that agreement basically should have been over in 2013. But as people changed, people were elected, new people came and went in offices, whatnot, it just kind of fell by the wayside. Well, nobody noticed. And when I got here several years back, I went and asked, why are we not getting all of our tax money? And nobody knew. So I called Marshall County and I said, why is Chapel Hill getting shorted on tax money? Well, that's just the way it is. I'm like, no, I don't like that answer. So I started digging into it and found out that we had signed a contract, but it never had a sunset clause. Am I correct in saying it that way?
Yeah.
It was for bonds that were 20 years, but it didn't actually set a date. So when that 20 years was up, they just kept taking the money out because they have it on an Excel program, and once they get so much money, they put that number in, it drops and tells them how much to send us a check. We still are not getting any paperwork from them on anything, how much sales are or anything. So that's why I brought it to the board at that time. The board said, well, let's look into this, and we voted. What was the exact thing, how we voted?
We passed a resolution giving the county notice that we were gonna terminate the agreement effective end of the fiscal year. It was probably 2024, something to that effect.
But we didn't.
And really coincidentally, right about that same time is when Shelbyville and Bedford County realized they had an agreement, went back even further than that. It's
And Shelbyville
almost
just
identical.
plowed right through with it and said, we're going after it.
Yeah, but the, I don't, you could get a better estimate, I bet between Shelbyville and Bedford County, they spent $500,000 in attorney's fees. They both hired big firms to litigate this at trial, even though the facts, I don't think are really that
This
much
would
in
mean
dispute. I think it's really
basically
just a,
over $200,000 a year to the town though, if we got that money. Well over. And, but that's a decision you'll have to make. And also Marshall County is now holding somewhat over our head, saying that the reason they're not doing anything with schools or building or whatnot is because we're holding this over them and they don't know that they can pay for things.
okay.
Well, I went and met with the school board director, Justin Perry, and sat down and talked with him for a couple of hours. And basically it got down to this point, they don't care if Chapel Hill backs out or not, but they don't want Lewisburg to. And they're afraid if we do, Lewisburg will sue through it, so.
Well, an inside source told me just the other night that the Marshall County Board of Education has $24 million that they put back into the general fund.
Yes, and I was getting to that point. So 3 years ago, it was sitting at $8 million. And now, basically, everybody is just, they're taking everybody, us, Lewisburg, Cornersville, all of our money and putting it basically into savings account, earning interest on what would have been our sales tax money.
When is Shelbyville's, when are they going to court, when are they gonna?
So they had a trial last year, and now they were at the Court of Appeals, and, Shelbyville won, they were successful at the trial court level, and, Bedford County appealed it to the Court of Appeals, and they just had oral argument on that, last month.
Okay.
But I think Shelbyville, were they not trying to get back tax money and everything?
Well, yes, and the court gave them a certain amount, I can't remember exactly the timeline, but they basically said, starting on this date, we're gonna let you collect, but it didn't go back that far, and I don't, that is the one, I think, downside to the town putting it off any further, is the court's gonna look at it and say, well, you gave them this notice, but you didn't file suit, we're not gonna let you go back, further than we would otherwise, but
I don't think the
considering the
board,
cost of
when we did
litigation.
this, wanted to go back and get money anyway, they just wanted to have a sunset clause. Or stop.
And that's the other part of it, we, from the very outset, the town has communicated to the county, both to the attorneys and to the mayor, let's sit down and work out an agreement with the termination date, let's agree on a date when it'll, and they just won't even talk about it, they said, no, you can't do it.
And it's, like the school board director told me, he said, well, there's always gonna be bonds. Okay, well, let's sign a new contract if we wanna help you with those, so.
But as a general legal principle, you can't have a contract without an ending date, you can't just have a perpetual agreement that lasts forever.
So
But it
you're,
was actually supposed to go back to the Marshall County Commissioners to vote at some point, and they never did either.
in your professional opinion, should we seek reimbursement from years past?
I think we should go back, with filing suit, we should ask from the date that we gave them notice we were gonna terminate that at a minimum, yes, which now is 3 years. I don't think
Around 3 years.
the likelihood that we would get beyond that is that great. Of course, you could ask for further years back, but the trial court in Shelby County, or Shelbyville, didn't really go back that far. I can't remember again, I have to look and see what they awarded them, but
I mean, that
it's
would-
basically moving forward.
That would be huge for this town. And if we didn't have to pay that extra $200,000 every year.
Yeah.
I mean, we could increase law enforcement, we could increase fire.
And the reason I put it right here where I did is because if that sales tax referendum went on with that, and if it did pass, Marshall County would not be subject to get any of that money. It would all come to us. Well, they would get their half, but not
Not that additional.
a third of our half.
Well, again, it's our duty to take care of Chapel Hill.
And that's why I brought this up again.
So what would be the next steps in the procedure?
Probably could wait and see what the appellate court says.
Yeah, I think one action the board could take is just to confirm the resolution that was already approved back at the county, just say, look, we hadn't forgotten about this, we're not gonna rescind this resolution. And, we're still asking for, payment of this share since that original date, whether that was July 24, and just put that back in the record. And, both the county and the town have just finished with their budget for this year, so, you can start saying, well, we don't have it budgeted for this year, but let's start negotiating towards a settlement or a termination of that agreement. I don't expect they're gonna reply any differently than they have the last 3 years, but, and then I think we wait and see what the Court of Appeals rules on that case.
So we could just say, hey, July 1, we're stopped, we're done, over with.
Yeah, or again, just
They're still gonna
retroactively.
keep our money.
Yeah,
They haven't
We
really
can
said-
say what we want to, they're gonna keep,
They're gonna keep
They're
it
gonna
until the
keep on
town
keeping it.
sues it, and the court says they can't keep it.
Well, how soon can you get a court date? Would you represent us?
I don't think you want me to represent you in that, but I mean, again, it's not as complicated
This is not a knee-jerk reaction thing right here. We need to plan this out.
Go
I'm just thinking
Go
ahead.
online and look and see what the Shelbyville and Bedford County have paid to litigate this issue. Now, if the Court of Appeals gives a good decision on it, they've got a lot of incentive, I think, at that point to say, okay, well.
They've already paid the road for it.
Yeah. So I think it's prudent to wait a little bit longer to see what the Court of Appeals does, because they could go the other way. I don't think they will. I don't think you can have this perpetual contract, but they could figure out some way to justify it. The other, I think, potential big risk that hasn't happened yet, you know, the legislature can get involved and make an adjustment to this that changes the dynamic, but they haven't so far, so. Because it's all based upon a statute that allows for these types of agreement in this.
And there's several cities across the state that have agreements with the county to do this.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, every one of them has an end date.
There must have been a trend in drafting these agreements at that time. I don't know whether the same attorneys representing the counties in these deals had them, but, you know, it's very similar to the.
Well, we spoke with Lewisburg and their accounting department was not aware that they were paying.
And this is
And
what
then
was
they realized
93?
how much money they were losing.
Well, I don't think they were happy you came.
But like you said, it's been going on for years and we're finally making headway, so I know with the one time the school board came up here and sat with us too, and did the same thing, oh, we guarantee you we get the records to show you exactly where it's going and stuff, and never came.
Well, this has gone back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And every time Marshall County's like, well, we'll meet with y'all, and we ask to meet, and then they don't.
Yeah.
And we've tried numerous times.
And one of the things that's confusing too, not to get too much into the weeds, and I hadn't looked at it in several months, but these agreements started back in the seventies or early eighties, and then every time they would do a new bond, they would do an extension to the agreement. So whether it was 92 or 93,
I think
whatever
what
it is,
happened is bonds started overlapping because building schools started getting more and more and more, and nobody ever.
And I think there were commitments made by the county to the town, you know, to build the schools in the town and maintain them and expand them, and that was the kind of the deal for extending the agreements.
I like to stay on top of it.
Well, would y'all like me to put anything on the agenda for Monday night about either the referendum or the agreement with Marshall County?
The increase, is what you're asking, the increase?
The referendum increase, yeah. We could go ahead and vote to do that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, the sales tax increase, yes.
And then just hold off on.
And the other one hold off, till Shelby goes to September.
Until we figure out the business, like, what we are submitted.
Okay. I'm just seeing your thing ahead at once.
No, it's doing good.
Any other questions over item 11? Wonderful. May I attract your attention to item 12, the Independence Day celebration and fireworks show. Plans have moved along, they've done really well. We've made some connections with some business people in the town, and they have agreed to donate some funds and some resources, and I'm excited for it. We will know more when I start receiving more emails. Just know that any donation that what I have solicited or received, I have immediately brought to Mr. Dye to make sure that there is no perception of impropriety or any unethical actions on my part. So all monies, checks are made out to the town of Chapel Hill, and in the memo line, it is listed for 2026 fireworks. So I couldn't even catch it if I wanted to. So that's going good. I'm excited. It's gonna be big turnout. We did sign a 3-year contract with the firework company. I misunderstood, and so we have gone back to the original contract, the original show. Original shows $30,000. Should be a 19-minute show. Music has been picked out for it, so we're good. Any other questions over?
And we have gotten several vendors during the day.
We have got several vendors. We've even had a politician that's requested to come. Pay your fees, set a tent up just like any other vendor. And, I would like for churches to attend. Can you spread that word? Last year we charged churches. I think that their services, that what they do, coming out, even if they only able to reach one soul, I think that's well worth it. I would like to include all churches, more than welcome to come pass out water and pray over people if they need, if someone's searching, so.
July 4th? The third?
It's on the 3rd on a Friday.
Yes.
Friday
what?
the third.
Correct.
Well, the tent rental, the vendor fee is $10 a fee.
And there will be no, if it's a rain out, it's off.
It's done, yeah, rain or shine,
No rain day.
rain or shine, be no rain day,
We gotta pay him if it rains.
so.
Somewhere where there's a car show that morning too, is that part of this?
I do believe they're having a car show that morning, correct me if I'm wrong, they are having a car show. The details on that end, I'll have to consult with the other three ladies and get going with them, so. Big thing is I wanna make sure that the churches are there and they can set up their tents, pass out water and pray over people. So, any, you're helping with this year too, right? Did you say?
By Marion to do some kind of speech or something out of it.
Are you going?
Marion's doing something at Veterans Park.
Are you going?
250.
I guess, like I said, I'd try to get a hold of Marion and see what she wanted or what to do. I just got an email all that.
Well, she asked me if I'd read the declaration for her.
You have to say what part of it.
And
I was just gonna say the whole thing.
if we can divide and conquer, and if you'd be willing to do that for her, then I could focus my efforts with him on the field and the car shows and setting the vendors up.
Check with her and see what it's involved in.
If we could divide and conquer, that'd be great.
Car show, is that Cars and Coffee?
Yes, I think it's similar to I think it is the same people, but
Same thing we're gonna have for the bigger.
he's on the fence, but I ask him, look at that.
Who does Cars and Coffee? Sean Mears. Mears. He's worked for me, Dennis still works for me.
I knew Grindstone.
They do that like every week now, don't they?
I think it's every Saturday.
Second Saturday.
Is it
Second
Saturday?
Saturday. So it's next week, not this week.
Yeah. It's cool, I can't get that in trouble. Anyone have any other questions over the Independence Day celebration fireworks show? You're helping. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Miss Pam, you're more than welcome to come and join the crowd. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have a tent there set up, and I'd like for all of us to be there so people can see who actually represents them and who is who. If they have a question. Yeah, I'll pay $10. So we can, I'll charge
Donnie
it to
will be
the
laughing,
town.
you'll be there too.
So,
Water department, absolutely.
See?
yeah, why is my water bill so high? We'll set Dennis up next to you. So, that's an idea.
That might end up like 50 cents by the time we each put in.
That's my idea, is to have an area, information booth, information area. Last year, we had an autistic child come up missing. Thank goodness we were found right before we had to get Chief Khan's crew involved. Fire department does a big display with a fire truck. Chief Khan brought a couple of trucks out. Hawken was able to get with park rangers. They brought some of their boats and some of their trucks. It's really cool, touch of truck stuff. So it's a good event for the family all around. And so,
We get a dump tank set up.
well, I sit in it.
charge $10, man, we'll raise a whole lot of money, I'll just put all of us up there.
Just put it on that west side of the field.
Y'all are gonna sign the
He's throwing us in that water now.
That'll be the biggest crowd we ever had.
Who's gonna pay for all that?
We'll have the next 10 ones to pay for
Is that a
it.
one-time tap fee for the water?
They did that 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, dang.
We used to do it a long time ago, and it was really cool.
We actually talked about it 3, 4 years ago.
Good thing it's just
Sell
talk,
tickets
huh?
to it.
Like I said, it
Was like 3 tickets for $5 or something.
Oh, geez, you're right.
Yeah, kids eat that up.
They would
Eat
too.
that up.
Oh, my God.
Adults too.
Oh, adults
Oh,
do
yeah.
too. Teenagers trying to impress their girlfriend.
We had a kid stuck.
I'll
in a
sit the
swing
first
set
half, you sit the
yesterday at
second.
park.
No way,
15-year-old
really?
kid, kid decided
Stuck?
to babysit him.
Oh, really? Did you have to cut them out? Grease them up?
Park ranger apparently got him out before we got
I
there.
guess.
Oh, geez. Grease them up or, cut them out, one or the other.
Maybe go home with the cut the chain.
Well, nothing really big about it.
Oh, what happened? Oh,
Any other discussions over the fireworks? Any closing remarks?
I got a question. How much is a traffic light cost?
$1 million.
It's close.
Is it really?
Yeah.
$1 million a year? Or is it cost
Oh,
to put it
right.
up?
I
Maintain
thought
it,
you meant
cost?
a brand new one, buying it.
I am. I'm talking about,
Yeah,
how much would a new light cost and how much would it maintain a year?
I think the cost was 480,000.
Something like that, when they signed it for
And
270.
then that was just like a basic traffic light with no arrows and nothing.
We have a contract with, putting those little flags up on home posts or electrical posts.
We didn't have a contract,
Well,
no contract, but it was word of mouth that what was going to be.
change them out every year or whatever.
Oh, you talking about those flags? The 10? No, the banners, okay. The banners were part of project from Marshall Leadership. And that class shows a project every year. Every class has to have a project, and that's what they chose. I did call Miss Stephanie Tips to tell her that some of our banners are destroyed and ruined, and she said that, well, that class's money is gone. So I'm gonna try to hold Duck River responsible, because there's a bracket at the top and there's a bracket at the bottom. The bracket at the bottom is supposed to hold the flag from wrapping around the pole and getting all twisted.
And we were told as the town, we could not repair them on their poles.
It's their fault.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, they look pretty bad.
Yes, sir. Good eye, Captain
Looks
Bobby,
like it
appreciate
had
it.
a screw in it to hold it down, and it didn't hold.
Didn't work.
Yeah, they gotta get Duck River back out there.
If that's the one that's wrapped around the pole all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out.
And I'd like to say, we ought to put a thank you in the Duck River, and put the flag up for Memorial Week this way.
Oh, yeah, wasn't that nice? They put a
That
little-
was nice to see
a
it on
little
the truck.
up
And
there
I
and they
think
had
the
flag.
town Chapel Hill should thank
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Any other questions, comments, concerns, remarks? Thank you all for coming, appreciate it. Meeting is adjourned. How about that? How about that?
No, you were okay, I just wanted to get here, I didn't say hello to you today. I'm Campbell.
What's that? I said I'm good at that sounds probably
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I took the. All right,
Good.
Excuse me. You guys had it,
He starts checking. It's all I can do when you together. Yeah. It's all I can do to keep it together.